Welcome to the HVAC Jerks with your hosts, Rich, Kevin, and Joe. You can email these guys at theboys@thehvacjerks.com.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the HVAC Jerks. My name is Rich. I'm here with Kevin and Joe, as always.
Hello.
And we are the hosts of this unapologetic attempt to be your favorite weekly podcast. We're really happy that you're helping us get the word out because our audience is growing nicely, and we want to thank you all for that. So,
especially our repeat customers.
Yes, repeat
Keep coming, baby. Keep coming.
All right. In our last couple of sections, what's that?
Don't listen to me, man. I'm just here taking
up
space.
Okay. Last couple of episodes were about employee training, and we did it from the employee's point of view, and then we talked about employee training from the employer's point of view. This time we're going to do it a little bit differently, and we're going to talk about training the employee or the importance of a trained employee from the customer's point of view. So we want to take the role of the customer from his eyes or her eyes and discuss why it's important from their point of view, and hopefully you guys as technicians will have a little bit better understanding of why you want to come across as being trained. So that's what we're all about today.
Yeah, I can sound really smart if I say it with enough confidence.
Let me tell you, one of the things I like saying better than anything else is, I forgot it now. That's not... No.
Is this they call those a senior moment?
This is not easy.
No, perception is reality.
Perception is reality.
And that's really, really true. That's, people see you as a technician, and whatever they believe is reality, whether it's true or not. If they think you're trained, if you come across as a highly trained technical technician, they're going to think you're the best guy in the world for the job. If you do know all that stuff and you really do know everything in the world, but you come across like a dope, then in the customer's eyes, you're not worth a crap. Right. Doesn't matter what you
Public
really know.
speaking classes.
It's all about perception.
You have to articulate. You have to. Albert Einstein said this a long time ago. And I'm not sure if I'm going to say it verbatim.
Joe told you this because he was there, right?
Maybe over tea and crumpets or something. But
if you guys are upset out there that are older like myself, please write in and tell these guys to stop being jackasses.
You really look good for 106.
So
they're just jealous. They haven't got here yet.
So Albert Einstein said, "quote: If you can't
Marilyn, do that again.
What?
Marilyn, do that again. Never mind.
So. I can't even get a goddamn statement in. All right, so what he said is that if you cannot explain it to your grandmother, then you don't understand it.
That's a good one.
And it's true. You have to explain things like you're talking to your grandmother. So I'm not saying goo goo gaga and insult the people, but sometimes you got to get back to basics and start off with very simple explanations of how a thermostat works. It might blow the customer's mind away. Just over a simple conversation of just explain, this is nothing more than a fancy switch. And they understand a switch. They don't understand a thermostat. Right. So it's how you present it, how you speak to them. Don't be degrading to the housewife. Don't be degrading to the husband. Look, I know housewives that know more than their husbands.
You brought it up, so I'm going to ask you, did I ever tell you my sales pitch story, my sales call?
Oh, I'm sure you have. You just keep talking.
Just to make it...
You should see the amount of recordings we have. You just don't shut up.
Very quickly, I went to a house once to sell a furnace to someone. And the husband wasn't home. And I go in there, and all I see is...
stolen panty story.
All I see when I walk in the door is this little girl... She was like 5'2" or something in sweatpants, and these two kids running around and toys all over the place and whatever. I went through the whole thing, talked about the variable speed furnace and all this. And it turns out that she was actually an HVAC engineer, and she didn't tell me that to the end. But you never know who you're talking to, is my point.
No clue. You have no clue who you're
So
talking
basically you're trying to prove that you were a misogynist and expected that she knew nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I respected. I did everything exactly the way I should have. But
it's a stereotype that's out there.
Sure.
And it's I don't want to say that my parents didn't teach me to be that way, but society does
Right.
subliminally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to overcome.
I think
Yes.
you guys are
So-
looking for the word, and it's simple. It's called respect.
Well, well, that's it. You're in somebody's house.
Have some
right? So
respect.
you got to, look, the homeowner, like they're paying you, right? So their perception, they want to make sure that they got the right people in their house. They have exposed their lifestyle to you. You're going to walk in their bedroom. You're going to walk in their bathroom.
That's very
This is
personal
very
space.
personal
Yeah.
space that they don't let
Yeah.
their best friends in.
Right.
Right.
It's nothing
So
to you because you're there every day.
we see it all the time, right?
Right,
So
but
it's
to
second
them-
nature to us. Like, oh my God, what do you hear every time you
Right.
walk in? Oh, excuse the mess. Excuse
Right.
the mess. Right. And I tell
You
them,
don't even look at it. You don't- yeah.
My house is destroyed. And you're like, no, it looks lived in. Like that's what I tell you. You live in your house, right? That's what it's here for. You live in it. Look,
Those people never have anybody, a stranger in their house.
I've been in houses that you got to take your shoes off and
And
walk around barefoot,
they're willing to expose that because they have a need to get something fixed, and that's why you're there.
They need you
Right.
there. They want you there.
They're
they might not
vulnerable.
wanna pay.
Exactly,
They're
that's the word. It's
They're vulnerable.
They've opened themselves up, and that's a hard
Right.
thing for a lot of people to do.
Yeah.
And to see their kid's bedroom or just anything like
I
that.
don't like
just-
strangers in my house.
no
I'm
one
a
does.
private
No one
person.
does. Like I mean, so treat that with the utmost respect, right there and foremost, right? Just because the husband or the wife or what, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter who's there, whoever you're talking. It could be the nanny. I don't care if the neighbor let you in. You talk to them as if it was their house. Treat them with respect. Treat them as if they're knowledgeable people that can understand and retain what you're telling them. Right. And they might tell you, oh, I don't. This is all gibberish to me, and and I would always respond to something like that with, let me explain it anyway, because I'll feel better knowing that I did give an effort to explain it to you, and hopefully maybe you can learn something.
Right.
So the next time somebody comes in here and they try to pull the wool over your eyes, you
Right.
don't fall for it, or you're just that much smarter tomorrow.
This
it's
actually-
part of education to the home.
It's really helpful if they do understand.
This is actually very
because it-
simple to me. This is a very simple topic. Unfortunately, it falls under the common sense clause, which we know that doesn't exist very often. I think Kevin's absolutely right. I think you owe the customer respect. You're going there to fix a problem. They're expecting you to fix a problem. They're expecting you to have the
in a timely manner.
right credentials and abilities because they're paying you, just like they go to a doctor. You fall under that almost same category. So understanding you're going into someone's home, the first and foremost thing you should transmit when you're walking into them is their needs. Their needs are the reason you're there. And you're not there to be impressive. You're not there to, get a patted on the back. You're there because it's all about them.
You need to make them feel that you understand their problem.
Right. And you have
first
to
of all.
understand it's all about them. It's them, and them. They need to be important. They need to be the star on the wall for you. They need to be everything. And put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in the perspective that somebody's coming to your mother's house or your daughter or your sister or your brother-in-law, your father, your grandfather. How would you want your family members treated? How would you want somebody to come in? And would you want somebody with mud on their boots? Have some common sense.
Take the time
again,
and
this
listen
is
to what they
ownership,
have to
right?
say.
This is ownership, and I'm going to revert back to what I said on the last episode.
This conversation you're having right now is coming from an employee point of view.
Right. But this is my point. This is also, I'm going to give this to the employer's point of view. I'm going to give it to the employer that this is, when we spoke about training and getting your guys up to par on the latest equipment and technology, this is as important, if not more important, because you're going into the sanctity of somebody's home. First and foremost, when you walk into that door, your customer doesn't know you, doesn't have any idea what's going to happen. So you got to take the threat away from that customer. So to me, the first thing you should do is thank you for allowing me into your home.
That's a great opening line.
That's what a customer feels. They want to get that comfort value. And sure, I'm saying this in the exact opposite of what it should be, but as somebody going into a home, they have to know what the customer's facing. So yes, we want to educate the customer. We want to tell the customer what's going on about but that's after. You have to make that threshold.
You got to establish that
Empathetic.
communication right off the bat.
Absolutely.
Empathy is the word.
I'm really sorry you're going through this.
Somebody write that down.
You got to break
Exactly.
break the ice. You got to build confidence. You got to let them know that you're not an idiot, that you're a nice person,
And that you
that
understand
you
that-
recognize stuff in the house. It might be, a picture on the wall. Could be something, just something. You start break a conversation.
Find common ground. You're saying, yeah.
Find some common ground.
Right.
Hey man, that's a really nice car out there. How do you like the Honda Civic? Yeah. I heard really good things about that. Or man, I just got new tires on mine.
And again,
that brings the walls. That's sales 101.
That'll drop that wall down instantly, and you say, "Also, I heard a rumor that you got no heat."
As a customer too,
AC's not working
as a customer and a homeowner, the last thing they want to hear from you is, "I think."
Right.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
But
never seen this before.
Those are excellent points. But before you go there, think about just what you were talking about a second ago, and the technician coming into the house, and Kevin's talking about breaking down the walls and finding common ground and all that. And you've seen technicians, they've worked for you before, who say, "I don't care about any of that crap. I'm here to fix their furnace. I don't give."
No, but
they need to understand.
Right. And again, you have to understand who you're hiring as an employer. This should be a protocol that has to be followed.
This is for companies moving forward.
Right. This has to be something that.
This isn't what.
And a lot of companies are following these types of things. They should.
It's getting better. Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to my other questions, wow, what a piece of junk. You're lucky your house didn't blow up. These are kinds of things you never say to a homeowner.
They still make these.
Right, exactly. Never seen that before.
Hot water heater.
Right. So,
I'm sorry, a water heater, not a hot water heater.
Oh, you bought one of those? Those things suck, yeah.
And be prepared to explain what you're doing. Be prepared to sound intellectual or confident that you're going to transmit that confidence to that customer. If the customer doesn't feel that you're thorough, how many times have they called a company? Can you send another guy out here?
They need to feel that they made the right decision.
Or that you're trying to scam them.
Exactly.
So if you're not saying it correctly or using the proper verbiage, and they get a bad vibe from you, and you say something like just not right. It might not have been a bad thing, but it just came across the wrong way, or maybe the wrong tone, or
and that could be for anything.
Or something. They could be for anything. And now they're going, well, this sounds like this guy's just being shady. I'm going to hire somebody else. You know what? Forget it. I don't want you in my house. I'm done.
And that could be just because you were looking at the diamond ring too much or something. It could be anything like that.
Right.
But,
and we also got to flip this around too. How many times have we all been in a customer's home where they've been irate? They have no time for small talk.
The seventh guy here.
Well, you have to read the situation.
Of course, but that comes from us who have experience.
I got 22 people.
This is a training thing, right?
Christmas Eve.
Right. This is a training cycle.
Right. They don't have time to talk to you. Right. Yeah.
This is a training cycle that should be implemented by their employer to say, look, you're going to have great people and you're going to have shitheads.
Right.
And there's some things for a shithead no matter what you do.
Well, you got to learn how to deal with people.
Right.
And it goes back to the employee learning how to adapt and recognize the situation. Recognize, like, there's only so many types of personalities out there. There's A's and B's.
Right.
There's some theory behind that. But recognizing, look, you get a guy that's an engineer. He wants to know why something's blue. Doesn't matter what. He could give two craps about anything else that thing's doing.
Doesn't care.
But he wants to know why it's blue. It's blue for a reason.
Right.
It's blue because it's blue, but that's the engineer. So you need to know how to handle that guy in that situation.
Especially because that guy knows about this little bit of technical
too much.
whatever, and
he knows too much.
He knows too much about a little piece of it, and probably more than you in that case.
So then you get the other extreme where you got a homeowner that's just I don't know jack shit about anything, and I'm relying.
Well, I looked it up on the internet,
and then you got that other guy that's in the middle. It says I googled everything, and it should only cost me this much, and why are you upcharging? You're adding value to my parts. Why? Well, because I went to the store and got it. I drove it here, and I know how to install it. Well, I could buy it on Amazon. Well,
if the doctor came here for 2 hours, how much would the doctor charge you? He charges you $75 for 5 minutes.
The irony is that this could be easily avoided. And as a technician, you're not responsible for those answers. If you have a problem with this number, ma'am, you have to call the office. Well, I'm just out here doing my job. And this is a matter of training, telling your guys how to react. You have to listen to their pain. You have to empathize with what they're saying. Don't be combative ever.
Well, you could just say, you know what, you're right, it is expensive. So if you just bring your furnace to my shop, I'll take care of it for much less than I'm charging you here at your house.
Well, that's being a wise guy. That's when you're really like, this is my last day at this customer's house, then you can say whatever you want.
Because you're done.
But, the worst thing you do is be combative with somebody because you're not going to win that battle.
Right.
So let's go back to the perception.
Perception is reality.
Homeowner, right? So, you pull up in the van, right? And you're getting out and you're going to go to the back door of your truck and you're going to open your door. What's the first thing these people, what do? They walk out their house to greet you, right? And what do they see?
They want to see
cigarette butts falling out of the truck. You can't see the floor of your
Right.
truck
Or the
tools
dashboard.
all over. You can write your name in the dust on the dashboard, right?
Yep.
So presentation, right? Starts with the truck. I tell my guys all the time, clean the damn truck. Not only for your efficiency, not only for knowledge of the parts that are available,
Company
knowing
pride.
what things are on your truck.
You mean like taking an hour to find something?
Yeah, or tell me you don't have it, and I go out there and I find 3 of them.
And the
Because you
customers,
don't know where they are, because
Right.
behind the driver's seat where they shouldn't be.
to Joe's point, the customer's going to say, well, you're charging me more because it's taking you 20 minutes to find the
Right.
part
So
in your
now
truck.
you're just wasting time, right? So I'm paying you to be here, and you're screwing off in your truck, digging through coffee cups and yesterday's lunch to find, thermostat. So it starts with the truck, right? You got to have a neat truck, clean truck. It's presentation. I get at the end of the day, you've been hustling, you're throwing things in the back, you got broken parts that you've been collecting, you just haven't got a chance to throw them out. That's expected.
Perception is reality. When they see the nice, clean truck, whether it's the crappy truck, who's more professional?
I've had different experiences with that. When I first started, I drove around in an F-250 utility body with a plow on it, and it was a hunk. That thing worked like a champ, International 7.3, badass diesel. Thing was awesome.
Yep.
The problem was that some customers recognized that, hey, that's a working man's truck, and this is my kind of guy. He's down, he's gritty,
Right.
he's out there. He's not glamorous. He's putting his money in his pocket.
Low overhead.
He's hustling.
Yeah. Low overhead.
And so and then there's other customers that saw that truck and were like, there's no way I'm hiring that knucklehead. Like just by looking at that truck, it's that thing's black and it's rusted and it's got a plow.
They
on
want
it.
somebody with a big company behind
I don't
them.
want to hire this guy. It doesn't look good. So as I progressed, I've always said have something moderate. Something that's respectable. Don't go overboard. So having a new van is not a problem. So when I did buy a new van, customers, oh man, it's great to see that you're growing. It's great to see that you're putting your money back into your business. You're putting it into your trucks. You're putting it into your tools. That's great. Love to see it. So the ones that I might have been turning off are now more attracted because I'm driving around a new truck. So a majority of people like to see a nice, clean truck. Doesn't have to be perfect. Don't have to have matching brakes to match the paint color of the car, and it doesn't need to be dropped or lifted or anything
calipers,
like that. A modest work vehicle,
Right.
That is out there. You don't need chrome rims with spinners or anything like that, or a base system in your car. So you pull up, you want to look respectable, you want to be modest. Because they don't want to feel that they're overpaying, and some people do. Like, don't get me wrong, we have high-end customers.
I used to have this guy who I met through a class years ago, and he would tell me he would charge customers depending on what kind of car they had in the driveway.
Yeah.
So that's not good policy, right?
I don't think that's good policy.
But the reason I say that is because customers have an expectation that they're going to get fleeced.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, because you're a contractor.
Right.
So,
they're vulnerable. They have no choice. They're going to get fleeced. And I think the way to alleviate that issue is fix the problem.
The first time.
Right.
If you can.
Double check your work. Make sure you're not just going to repair a part. Find out the cause of it if you can. Maybe something worn and just needs to be replaced. That's fine. But a lot of times there's a lot of issues where they see something's blown, they change it, and they walk away not knowing what caused it to get to that point.
So what you're saying is that the customer is going to respect and trust a trained technician who knows how to do it right the first time.
And also they're going to be confident that they made the right call to call that company to begin with. Right. Because that's a big confidence thing.
Visit.
Right. So they want to know that they're not being taken advantage of. And the way you do that is once you get to the point where you see what the issue is, have that conversation with the customer. Say, this is what I found. This is exactly what you need. This is what's going on. And this is what it's going to take to remedy this issue. And let them understand that, this is something that I have to do. I don't want to do it. Or not to the lengths of, being just like you have to, there's nothing you could do, but make them feel confident it's the right move that they're making to have us there. So this is why we're here to make
them feel comfortable in their decision.
Exactly. Make sure that they understand that I got the right guy here. Right. And that's all the way you interact with them once you're and then they're going to give you that go ahead. They're going to do the green light.
Interacting with the customer that's like a minefield there. It's crucial. Absolutely, it's crucial. Absolutely. But there's a fine line you have to walk there.
But the customer
you have
also
to be
wants that
technical, but not too technical.
It's not that, you go in as a technician and say, oh, I have to go in there and start a 15-minute conversation just to go through every service call. homeowners are expecting some kind of conversation for the most part. They want to talk to you. You know, they come down. Oh, it's a new face. They want to be friendly. You know, they put on their friendly face. They got somebody new in the house. So I think homeowners are looking for that. I think they're expecting it. They want to be engaged. They want to see what you are and what you're capable of. Most of them will walk away and leave you alone. Okay, I'm going to be inside. You need me. You know where to get me. And, you know, you go out, work on the condenser or.
That confidence builds a callback. They're going to call you when the next problem happens. What else? I'm not calling anybody else. Kevin's coming.
Yeah, well, you know, and then, you know, you'll get that. You know, I've had customers that when I worked for other companies that, you know, before I had my own and, you know, they would, I had people wait 2-3 days with no heat just so I came back off of a weekend.
Yeah, the best
crazy,
the best part of this, it turns into an active referral.
Sure,
These guys
absolutely.
are always going to use you. They're going to tell their friends about you. And today's day and age, everything goes on a blog. Everything goes immediate. So, you know, whether you shit or pass, everybody's going to know right away. So it's an important thing. I mean, listen.
I'm not sure I quite caught that.
Well, you have to understand that you're either going to shit the bed and do a shitty job, and everybody and their mother is going to know about it, or you're going to be sensational and everybody's going to know about it. So it's fair pricing. Right. You got to listen. I'm not going to get into the pricing aspect because I think each company has to.
We're talking about training now.
Yeah, each company has their right to charge. They got to know their value, and if they don't believe they're worth it, they're not going to get paid. Arguing is something that I don't think needs to be done. These are our prices. This is what it is. You're giving them a bill. If you don't want the repair, we understand. This is our charge for coming here. No hard feelings. Have a great day.
You're feeling that the homeowner's on the defensive day one. The moment they make that phone call.
Sure.
So the secretary.
Yeah, because they're living in the unknown.
So,
they don't know what it's going to cost.
It's out of their comfort.
So they're out there. Yeah, right. So they're on the defensive. So, you know, keep that, you know, for guys that are going into service calls, keep that in mind. You know, when you're dealing with that. So, you know, they're hoping when they make that phone call, it's a crapshoot.
It's nothing personal. You know, you can't be the guy walking in the door and take it personal. This is something they don't want. Listen, you have to understand, they don't want you there. You're there because there's a need.
Now, okay, so now sometimes when the technician goes to the house, most of the time when the technician goes to the house, there's only one spouse there. And oftentimes, you know, he takes care of the problem while just the one spouse is there. And then the spouse one has to explain or convey the spouse
or get them on the phone, and now you're talking to both.
Well, if you can do that, that's probably a good thing. But if one spouse has to explain it to the other spouse,
and then explain it like you're talking to your grandmother.
If that's my point, if you're
talking about,
right?
I wish Albert Einstein called me and explained E equals M 2 squared. I don't understand that. Do you? I can't even repeat it right.
Well, you know, and again,
his grandmother's really smart.
Paperwork, you know, the end user think about what they're reading too. You know, when you go there and you fill out your form and you know whatever your ticket might say.
Yeah, try to make it in plain English, not Rich uses industry jargon. Do it so it's understandable and they don't feel threatened.
You know, and add value to it, and that's what I call it. It's adding value. You could go in there and say, "Well, I did a CNS, I did a cleaning, changed the nozzle filter strainer, changed an air filter, half pound Freon. I'm out."
Wouldn't it be nice?
And here's a $480 bill, and that's all it says. It's 3 lines.
Right.
You changed the nozzle and added half a pound of Freon.
Right? So so it's a very intricate system.
I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, you know, so the customer now looks at this, and the husband comes home or the wife comes home. You know, it's, what the hell is that? You know, $480, and what?
That's my point.
Did these 3 things, and that's it. You know, so you know, not only do you need to explain it verbally, you put it on paper. Put it on paper. You're leaving them a copy of that receipt, or even if they don't get left a copy. I don't know how everybody does their paperwork, but your office writes it up, and you know, so you're adding value. So every little thing you do, I cleaned the contactor, checked the points, I put some.
They feel less compromised.
Right. They feel like, oh, this guy was here and he spent a good solid hour. I mean, I've brought garbage pails up for people. I've gotten their newspapers at the end of the driveway.
Right.
I've caught their dog. You know, like I've waited for their kids to get off the bus.
Flying through the air?
Yeah, like with the Frisbee and all.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's...
All right.
You just got to be a normal person.
What about price complaints? How does the employee training relate to customer price complaints?
Well, if an employee, if your employee, whoever's working for you, understands what is expected of them and how their pricing works, And guys out there that are listening will say, flat rate, it's the easiest way. There's no discrepancies. There's no questions, et cetera, et cetera. And I understand that. Yes, it's very laid out. The homeowner knows this is what we charge. And that is one of the positives to.
I was going to say, bring it back to what you were just talking about and the explanation on the service ticket.
Well, you want to make sure you explain, this is our service call fee if you have one. This is for us to break off our day and come out. This is our hourly rate.
But doesn't the person usually setting up your appointments do that? They explain all that?
Phone call should explain that, but everybody then tries to question it and say, well, geez, I don't want to pay. You were only here 40 minutes and I'm paying for an hour.
Keep in mind that 90% of what's said is going to disappear as soon as you say it. And when the other spouse comes home, they're only going to go by what's on the paper. So it doesn't matter what you said.
Paper is crucial for you to explain your position. It adds value to why you're charging what you're charging.
It'll alleviate the price complaints.
And look, employees, if you're trained, employers, if you're training them, you're going to be able to raise your rates. You're going to be able to have a happier customer because they know what they're getting up front. They're going to walk away from the job feeling satisfied. Dust off the unit, wipe it down. Put an air freshener in the basement. Do these little things. Take that 5 minutes to explain to the person who's standing in front of you. I don't care if it's the grandmother. Explain to them. This is what I did. This is what this does. Do you have any questions? Ask them, right?
Yeah.
Tag the boiler. Tag the unit. Put your information on
right. Be
there.
honest, too. They want to feel that they're being treated right, fairly, and justly. So you got to be honest and tell them this is what we're up against. And I don't think a technician should have the wherewithal to have to explain the pricing structure. I think, say, listen, ma'am.
They should be able to.
Right. I think, ma'am, this is what we were told to charge by our office. You're going to have to discuss with the office. I'm just a tech.
Right. And,
I think that
you explain to them what it's going to cost to repair it. If there's additional parts at once upon
right,
arrival.
and you're going to make that clear to them before they do anything. Give them the opportunity to say no.
So the homeowner's perception is, they're coming off already on guard. They're ready to fight. They're ready to protect their house. They're ready to protect their money. Right. So you got to go in there and not schmooze them over, but get them to calm down a little bit. Let you in the door. And go in there and work your magic. Yeah. Go work your magic. Be the best you can be. Get in there, impress them with your knowledge, impress them with your abilities, your ability to recognize their needs and be compassionate to their needs. Ask them, hey, I noticed that you got some asthma. Hey, someone asthmatic? Because there's some really nice air quality stuff out there that I can introduce you to. Maybe I can get you some information.
And suddenly with something like that, you go from the guy who just fixed my problem to now you can fix a problem that I wasn't even asking you about.
Right.
That brings you up to the next level.
I started this,
if the presentation is done correctly, you don't want to come off like, hey, we're having, you don't want to be pushy and overwhelming. Right. But you could say, you could bring it up lightly.
Remember when I said at the beginning of this segment that, first and foremost, you should thank them for allowing them in your home. Mm-hmm. And I think before they leave, they should say, your tech should say, is there anything you want to know about your system that you just want to ask or any kind of information you need to know to make you feel more comfortable.
Right. And you as a technician should be able to answer any one of those questions. Any homeowner
and
question
that shows concern. That shows that you're empathizing with them. And
what is it you don't understand?
Right. Tell me why you think you call it a furnace and everybody calls it a furnace when you really have a boiler downstairs.
You ask me a question, I'll ask you a question.
Exactly.
Right? And you say, why did you put it on wet
anything
carpet?
that you think that you need, you want to ask me about your system, whether it's in good shape, how much longer it will last, or, ask me. I'll be honest with you.
That's it.
It costs nothing,
rules, man. Trust me. You do that, and I've built my reputation in my business by being straight with all my customers, not ripping anybody off, and being compassionate to their situation,
and understand that you're not going to make everybody happy.
Right.
It's just an inherent part of the business.
Unfortunately, it is, but for the most part, I'd say we have a very high success rate of making people happy.
Oh, you care, right?
I care, absolutely.
So the bottom line of having a properly trained technician, not just on the physical, technical part of the equipment that he's working on.
This is customer relations 101.
Okay, trained in dealing with the customers.
They have to.
What's that going to do for the customer? It's going to create a customer that they're going to feel, for life. They know who to call next time.
Active referral. These guys are going to be your best marketing tool.
Price complaints are going to go down.
They're not going to have a price complaint because you're giving them
you're giving them once they know that they're getting treated.
You're giving them a surety. You're giving them a sense of certainty where they didn't have before.
That first impression.
That's it.
It's what you just said there about people being willing to pay.
They'll pay if they know
There's a
what they're
lot
getting.
of people out there that think that it's all about the money.
Right.
And it's not always about the money. It's about value. And that's
Hey,
a whole nother show that we'll have to do
I'm
on
going
that.
back to the automotive industry.
Okay.
Look what people pay now.
Yeah. Yeah.
People might say, oh, geez, I spent $500 to get my front brake done, or my brake job cost me $980 and
They're paying it.
They're willing to pay. Yeah.
They might complain about it at dinner, but they're paying it.
They're just about how you deliver. It's all about delivery.
The industry's changed and people accepted it. So we're going to be in that same boat. We are in that same boat, and we're going to be moving forward. And people will pay, not only because they have to. And look, if they don't have the money, there might be an opportunity to talk about financing or whatever. But you're looking to give them an opportunity to give them what they need, the best possible way to adapt to their scenario, be compassionate, be understanding, be on their side. You are working for the company, but you're also working for the customer. At the end of the day, they're paying you to do the job.
And
do 100% of it.
And in closing,
right.
employers, this is a big, important part of your business. Make sure your guys are very well versed on your expectations and how to handle a customer, because it's not you going to that house. You're leaving your business in your guys' hands or girls' hands. So you must emphasize the importance of the customer relationship. They're just not a wrench turner anymore. It's all about customer relations.
That's right.
So I'm going to pass it over to Rich, our hostess from earlier.
Drop that. All right, and with that, we're going to wrap it up for the week. So, all right, again, we hope you enjoyed our show, and if you did, please go back and give us a 5-star rating. Remember to visit us at the HVACJerks.com.
Feedback.
Yeah, we really want to hear from you.
You can give Joe a 4-star.
They're all haters here.
We really want to hear from you. Good and bad questions and comments, ideas for future shows, all that stuff. Email us at theboys@thehvacjerks.com.
Did you just ask them for bad questions?
I want to hear bad comments. So you get good and bad comments, good and bad questions, whatever. Send it along.
Tell us what to do.
Yeah. Well,
Tell us what to do.
Tell Joe what to do.
3 jerks out.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Have a great week. Thanks.
Peace.
You guys are jerks.
Follow the HVAC Jerks on Facebook and Instagram.